Right, I'd like to welcome the legend that is Chantel Patrick, originally Leeds born, and we haven't got many Lionesses from Leeds, so this is really exciting, and Bramley born, played for Dudley Hill, the late 1980s, and then went on 3 of the historic Lionesses tours, so 1996, 1998 and 2003. And now presently is in high-ranking officer in the police and very involved in Leeds and what's happening in the communities in police. So I'd like to welcome you to the Life with the Lionesses series, Chantel.
Thank you, thanks so much.
So first of all, just how did you get involved in rugby? Obviously Leeds, but you know, where did it all start? You getting involved in rugby league, and how old were you?
I was 13, and basically I was brought up in foster care. So for me to stay out of trouble, my local police officer, which was PC Webb, always used to try and funnel me into sports, knowing that I was quite good at most sports. He'd funnel me into whichever sport was good at the time, football, swimming, and then our local club, which is Stanley Rugby League, they started a girls team, and one of my friends, Joanne Popperwell, she started playing there, and she says, why don't you come along and try this? So we went and tried it, and yes, it all stemmed from there. And it was Stanley's pitch was up near the school, and it had two pitches, and the bottom pitch used to have a hill down it, and I was really skinny and small. And I remember, like, even for my first match, I used to get slung down that hill every match. It was just, I was on wing, and whoever on wing used to grab hold of me and just sling me down the hill. I always used to be sliding down it like a big slide. But because I was really quick and had a good step, I could actually step around people as well and then go and score some great tries. So when I realised I wasn't getting hurt, I absolutely loved it, and like probably one of the best things I've done.
Absolutely. So, well, I always remember your speed. You know, there was no stopping you when once you were off down that wing, without a doubt. So what was your pathway then to getting involved? Did you play county rugby and then go to Great Britain or anything like that?
So we played at Stanley, and then there was an under-13s competition at Stanley. Not at Stanley. I think under-13s Yorkshire came up, and myself and Joe and some other people got invited. And the trials were over Lancashire and Chorley. So we went to those trials, and that's where I met Mandy Green, ever living Mandy Green, the famous number 7. And we just hit it. We hit it off. There was Rachel Merrill's there as well, and a few others. And we just absolutely hit it off. So I played for Stanley, they played for Dudley Hill. And at these trials, Mandy, obviously, from her experience as a rugby player, because she'd been playing a lot longer than me, probably another 3-4 years prior to me playing, she was still under 13s, but she'd been playing with the boys and the brother. She could see basically that actually I was quick. So during those trials, every opportunity she had to give me the ball, she gave me the ball and we scored. So obviously it looked great. And then she's like, come and join Dudley Hill, come and join Dudley Hill. And I think I just went to a couple of their training sessions and then joined Dudley Hill and used to get the 508 bus from Stanley, which took 45 minutes all the way up to Bradford, and then get up and walk down. And then afterwards, Big K, who was on the team, she used to give me a lift home. And Ruth's dad also used to give me a lift home. So as long as I made the effort to get there, they'd give me a lift home afterwards. So then that just encouraged me to stay there. And just a great team to play for. Great clubhouse, great team, really enjoyed it.
So what age did you start playing open age rugby then?
Yeah, 13.
I was just going to say, was it 13?
Yeah, they didn't have any rules about it then, so you just played, because I think the amount of teams that were playing and the amount of girls that were playing was such a small pool that actually, if you didn't have us 13-year-olds playing, you probably wouldn't have a team, because I know for Dudley Hill, at least 6 of us were all that age. So, and all of us playing for Yorkshire and everything else. Dudley Hill being the type of club which actually brings through people all the time, that actually did develop us to that level.
Because actually Dudley Hill were one of the pioneering teams, weren't they? And one of the teams to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Even I haven't met all the Dudley Hill players before. They've had a few get-togethers before, and I just like look and think I haven't got a clue who you are. And I played for them for like 14 years. And so, but even before I came, they'd been playing another 5-6 years before that. People had come and gone. You had the Houston sisters, Lynn, and Gail and Caroline Plummet. How quick are all them three? They had all them three together, and Big K, Lisa Matt from Halifax eventually came and joined the team.
She did, didn't she? She turned.
She crossed the border and she came and played. Ruth Jowett, she was really good. One of the first ones who ever played, but she emigrated to Canada with her family and her husband. That must have been 15 years ago.
Yeah, so, they're actually running Canadian Rugby League now.
Are they?
The Jowetts. Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? You know, it's amazing because I think I've seen Bob a few times either on YouTube or on Instagram where I've seen him playing tag, and I'm thinking he can't leave it alone. Can't leave it alone, that lad. And he must be what? I don't know.
In his 50s, definitely in his late 50s.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But again, he was really quick. Really, really quick. So, yeah, it was just, I don't know, you had that kind of family. Dudley Hill does have a family ethos about it, in the fact that once you've been there, you kind of like, you're still there. Everyone still knows you and everything else. And I still see people who play rugby league, because I play tag now, who go, you're so-and-so, and you played at this, and you've done this. Wow. And it's quite funny. It is funny, and it is quite nice. But yeah, I'm old now. My legs are old, so I'm not as quick as well.
So did you play for Yorkshire as well then?
Yeah, so I played for Yorkshire all the way through under-13s, all the way up, under-13s had a team. I don't even know. Then they must have had an open age team, and then I think when we probably got to 16, we played for open age. And yeah, that was.
Did you do the Old Trafford game then? When you
played at Wigan.
Old Trafford.
We played at Wigan, didn't we, once? But curtain raiser against Lancashire, because that match I remember because I stole the ball. Lancashire was so right onto us, right on our line, and they passed the ball out to the winger, and I just stole the ball off and did full length down pitch and scored, and then we won. So yeah, I remember that, and on that pitch because it was Wigan.
Fantastic.
Wigan, the great Wigan. So yeah, probably one of the best tries ever.
I hope we got footage of it. I'm trying to find footage. I'll be looking for that in particular. Oh dear. So you started off at Bramley, playing for Stanley, moved to Dudley Hill, playing for your county. How did you get involved with the Great Britain side then?
So there was only a handful of teams which were actually very, very close. So Dudley Hill, you'd have Hull, Wakefield being one of them, and Castleford, or Red Hill as it was then. So when they said they wanted to do a Yorkshire team, obviously we all spoke about it as a team about who's going to go for it, do you want to go for it, and everything else. And we didn't even know what was going to be involved. Some people had been on Tours de France. I think Mandy and Tosh had been on Tour de France before, but that was well before I played. And we just went, yeah, let's have a go. Why not? What have we got to lose? So we went for trials, obviously, and there's 6 of the Houston sisters didn't do it though. Caroline, Gail, and Lynn never went for it. I don't know if it's probably the commitment side of it and having to go training all the time and everything like that. They were pretty much family members and just wanted to stay with the family. But all the rest of us were really, really eager and, yeah, we want to do this, we want to do it. So we all went for trials. And because I think 6 of us got picked from Bradford. And when you're doing trials, obviously you still work as a unit, you still work as a team. So, and as we're the second best team in the league. Wakefield were the best, we were second, and then close fought between Redhill and Hull. And I just think it's because we could work as a team, we shone, and a lot of us got picked. And we were just like, yeah, this will be good. But we didn't realise how much effort we were going to have to put in.
Tell us a bit more about that effort. What did they have you doing?
Everything. It's really difficult because it's the first of its kind, so no one knew what was going to be involved, etc. And they brought on the coaches, which was Ian Millward, wasn't it?
Ian Harris.
Ian Harris, not Millward. Ian Millward, St Helens coach. You having a laugh?
I don't know what you like.
I'm going big now.
Yeah, you are, aren't you?
Yeah. So yeah. Ian Harris. We had Ian Harris, and we were given all these training programs to do. Now, for me, that was the best thing ever because I was totally into sport. Absolutely loved it. So I threw myself into it. And then we all did, actually, as a team, we all threw ourselves into our coaching and training programs and everything else. And for that age, because at that time we would have been 16, 17, so we probably just left school. We were probably 17, 18 we were going on, because we'd all left school. So for females at that age, you normally actually, one, looking for a job, getting boyfriends, going out and getting drunk all the time, not interested in anything to do with sport. But actually for myself, Vicky Studd, Mandy Green, there were either Sam Pearson, there was Tosh, and it was the sixth. Can't remember who the sixth person was. Not quite sure. I'll have to look on my photos. But all of us were just like, no, we'll train with this. So we all trained, and we trained really hard. Even before games, Sunday morning before games, we'd go on a run. So we'd go on a run and then go and play a game. And I remember the coaches going, "Are you lot mad? What are you doing? You've got an 80-minute game here. What are you doing?" But we got to the peak of our fitness, and we absolutely loved it. So that was part of the commitment. And then you've got the fundraising side of it, which was going around clubs and, basically begging for money, because the only way to fund it was through charity and contributions from members of the public. So we were telling them what we were doing, and people were putting money in, and actually pretty generous at times. It would have helped, I suppose, it would have helped more with our local Super League clubs or Rugby League clubs at those times, back to player a little bit more. And they gave their support, even if they gave 200 quid per player, it would have been better than actually ignoring us, which is, I think that's what came across. We just got ignored. But we also had other people within, Andy Harland. He was at Bradford, and he was the development officer over there. And he did help us quite a lot for the Bradford girls in getting us up at Oddsall. We had a couple of curtain raises up at Oddsall to raise money as well. So I played on the pitch up there. So he helped us out that way a few times. Did the Hill as a team. They helped us out, really proud of us. They wanted to help us out as well. So they helped us out. But actually, massive struggle to get that funding and get that money to just to get over there. And then the weekends of training. And, training in winter on a Saturday on a freezing pitch, and facilities are rubbish, and we're digging up pitches and everything else. Absolutely terrible, but absolutely great as well on the other end. Because when it all came together and you're playing Australia and everything else, I think that's the bond which we'd made over that 2-year, 18-month period of training and fundraising, and made us probably the strongest team you'll ever have.
Yeah. So what was it like going out to Australia? Had you been to Australia before? Or was that the first time? And
That was definitely my first time, but I've been 5 times like since.
wow.
I love it. I love Australia. It's a great place. Yeah, that was my first time. And absolutely brilliant. The way we were treated in Australia, in actual fact, Rugby League England should be really embarrassed about themselves, because we went over there, we were given a civil reception, we were taken to schools and people were asking for our autographs and everything else. Going to the Broncos match, I remember we actually played at the Broncos training ground. We trained at the Broncos training ground. And I remember after, which was the final test when we won, went in changing rooms and they had big, massive freezers full of beer and pop and everything else. And then they took us to the clubhouse. We watched the match, Broncos were playing, and that's when they had the horse which went round the stadium. And then, honestly, one of the best times ever. Then they took us to the clubhouse, introduced us to our players who've been playing and everything like that. And got signatures, good night out, everything. Even wanted to take us to casinos and stuff. Absolutely amazing. One of the best times ever. And that was everywhere we went. It didn't matter if it was Brisbane, it didn't matter if it was Canberra, it didn't matter if it was Sydney. They treated us like we were really special, and that touring team that we were and worked really hard for, we actually got some out of it then. So
and you were really special, by the way, because you're the actually last team to ever bring back the Ashes.
I know, I say that all the time. I say we are the only team who's beat Australia on their own land on the first tour, and they've actually beaten them.
Yeah,
that's the only team. So yeah, and I'm. Do you know what? I'm chuffed with that. Absolutely chuffed to bits with it, because I think honestly, that 18 months of working and really working, there was no way we were going to come home without it, because we'd just been through so much crap that we were just like, nah, you're not having this. And even, the second game where the refereeing was really dodgy, and the decisions totally went against us because it was their referee, Australian referee, and they wanted to equal up the games, etc. And we're just like, no, this ain't happening. And third game, we proved our point and took it home.
You did. So what's your memories then of that third game and actually winning?
Jelly legs falling over, Brendan Dobson picking ball up, passing it to Harrison, who scored.
Nicky Harrison.
Nicky Harrison, who scored. That's the sixth person the squad, Nicky Harrison. So I've watched it a few times because I've got it on disc. So I've watched that match a few times, and I'm just like, yes, you can't. Honestly, so hard was those matches. It was, you definitely put your body on line all the way through. And I actually didn't think we were going to, in all honesty, I didn't think we were going to win, because they were really hard, like running against brick walls half the time. But it was just the luck went our way and we never gave up. And I can't remember what it was. I can't remember if I took a pass from somewhere or if I took it from acting half, but I just ran like 60 yards up at the top of the field and my legs just gave way, and I was like, basically got brought down. And I even remember Brenda, she pulled me up off the floor, play ball, played it, got a pass out, and we scored. And that was it, that was our game.
Wow, fantastic. So you come back Ashes winners, then having this shield. So what happened next? So you came home through the airport and
nothing.
Is that a loaded question?
Nothing. We're just like, who are you? You had a nice holiday, like every other person. No, to tell you, nothing did really. Nothing. It's Yeah, probably. I mean, if you think about now, what happens now with everyone and everything, what's going on, and it's taken, 20 odd years for this to even happen now. Nothing happened for us when we got back. You won, your family were a bit happy for you and everything else, but that was it. Even like, you could swagger around your rugby club a little bit because, you were dog's bollocks, but that was about it. No, for us.
Yeah.
Just get on with life.
And get on for life and ready for the next tour.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So tell us a bit more about the preparation for 1998 and going out to New Zealand.
Yeah, well, I had a bad do then, didn't I? Because I had a knee injury.
Yeah.
Because I was, involved in an RTC, so I had a knee injury. So it's quite difficult for me, really. In the fact that I struggled to get back to peak fitness again, and my knee was a little bit weaker. But I was just determined that I was going to go no matter what. So yeah, it was the same type of commitment actually, and still the same fundraising regime and everything else. And I think that's the thing which becomes tiring about the touring and everything else, probably why the same group of people probably didn't do it, because it's a lot asking your family to, not for me, but for those who are older in the squad, having children and family, can you look after kids every weekend, and getting your fitness regimes in place and everything else. But in New Zealand, we just cracked Australia, so why don't we go over there and give them a bit of a thumping? Unfortunately, it really didn't work that way.
Can you remember your first Kiwi tackle?
Oh my God. They just crumble, yeah. They're just on it. And this isn't being horrible to anyone, but actually it was like playing against men, because they are so physically fit, they are so muscular. They honestly, you ran into it. I remember them even saying to me before we'd even played, they laughed and went, "Is she playing?" looking at me, because I was so small and skinny that they're just like, "There's no way that she's playing. She must be like one of the boot people or something like that. Kit, she's doing kit, isn't she?" So they were just so, yeah, it hurt. It hurt. The friendlies thing, we won all the friendlies, but the test matches, they were just so on song. And you can tell that they, in Australia and both New Zealand, that they encourage women to play sport, and the touch rugby, what they play over there, the skills were way better than what we ever had. And yeah, they give us a massive thumping every single match.
Wow. So lessons learned after that tour.
Yeah, we had to be physical. If you were going, and I'd say against both of them, Australia and New Zealand, it was about you have to be physical. If you're going to go and play over there on their pitch or even over here, be physical, because they're not going to take a backward step and they're not going to allow you to win. And it's something that when we haven't been that good at, I don't think it's carried on. Looking at the international level now, I don't think it's carried on to the extent that we need to be just as physical as them, but our ball handling skills need to improve like 100 times more than what we can do now. So yeah, twofold.
Yeah, absolutely. I think lessons learned then, and we're still learning lessons now, aren't we?
Absolutely. But it's same for the men's game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly the same. And I think, like, I watch schools tag rugby on YouTube, Australian schools. Oh my God, those kids are absolutely amazing. And if come over here and play any of our international teams, and there's probably still thumpers now at under 16s, because that's how good their ball handling skills are. And if they can do that at that level, 13, 14, 15, with the ball handling skills, why are we not doing exactly the same over here? We're talking about head injuries in sport and everything else. Well, tag rugby is kind of a sport where not only is it inclusion of team sports for both males and females playing together or playing separately, but actually encouraging that ball handling school as well and building a team ethos, which actually can then develop into whatever sport you want to do. If it's rugby league, rugby union, hockey, or anything else, it's that coordination what we need first.
So right, it does, it quickens it, and they have the weather for it as well, don't they? So
they do, but we've got to put up with what we've got as weather, haven't we?
Yeah,
so you know, if you think about this last month, we've had great weather over here, and we need to take advantage of that. And if you think about all these pitches that are now the G3 pitches that have now been built on all the school fields and stuff like that, we actually have the facilities to do it all year round. So it's a case of, you know, investing in kids and for sports, invest in them, and let's see what we can get in 10 years' time.
Definitely.
Be more
it changed our life sport, didn't it? So
yeah, definitely.
Definitely. So back to the tours. So 1980, 1998, lessons learnt from them Kiwi ferns. 2000, you didn't play, did you? We think, you know, maybe injury had sort of ruled you out.
Yeah, I actually think I was injured. I think I've had a knee surgery then, so I don't think I played. I think I stepped back a bit.
Yeah, well, you definitely weren't in the squad, but then you picked up the mantle again and went out in 2002 to Australia.
I obviously hadn't learnt my lesson. I've thought, take them on again. I'll have another go. Come on, have another go. But so I think part of the change here was the fact that when I was working for Bradford Bulls Rugby League as a development officer, so I was the first female Rugby League development officer for Rugby League. So I worked for Bradford Bulls full time. So we're getting a lot from them in regards to time, training, skills, a lot of support from Bradford Bulls in regards to that, and they in turn helped Bradford Dudley Hill, because I think they were changing them to Bradford Dudley Hill in regards to kits and stuff like that. So, and they actually did give us some time on the pitch as well for us playing. So I think that's probably why I went back to it, because if I'm coaching within the community and I'm coaching girls and boys at year 5 and 6, then I'm being a bit of an ambassador for Rugby League, but also, you know, for women's sport as well. So let's get out there and have another go. And most of my mates were still playing again. So yeah, we had a go. I can't even remember what happened on that tour. That is actually a blur. We didn't win though, did we? We didn't win.
You didn't. No, but you were them close, but you didn't win.
Yeah, I think, do you know, again, I'd say again, it's the thing of the 1996 was the first tour, and it was so hard compared with all the rest of the tours, and the personalities and people what were involved in that tour, we were never going to lose it. Where subsequent tours, you didn't have the same personalities or people or the same ethos in building that team. So therefore, it probably we were probably lacking a little bit on some of those tours then. Just lacking the fight to go back and bosh him, you're not rolling over on us.
Yeah. There is something about that resilience, isn't there, in British teams?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So but it was still a fun tour.
Yeah.
It was still a very good and fun tour. And you do make some really good friends on those tours, and I think that's the biggest thing out of them. But I remember Mandy Green didn't go on that, did you, either? So you're missing your main one, number 7 for the league there. And different people came into it. Yeah, definitely it was a different build-up, different challenge.
Yeah. As you're all growing up and growing older, I guess, and new people coming in.
Yeah, and that's it. We're getting it's like every team it always changes, and the dynamics of the team, the ethos of the team, everything changes as new people come in and other people go out. You can't keep it the same. But that's probably what's happened on Mars as well.
Yeah. So when you look back, what was the most challenging then, do you think, aspect of touring?
Of actually being on tour, or
anything about being in the international arena. So the build up, whatever it may be.
It's the training and staying fit throughout the whole period, from when you decide that I'm going for this, when you get selected, and selection doesn't come until probably a month before you go, so you always have to be performing. So if your lead up is 18 months, you have 17 months of training, trying to be your best, trying to stay fit, not get injured, not get a serious injury, getting back to fitness once you've been injured. So that right until you step on a plane, because until you step on a plane, you're not guaranteed that place. So keeping that fitness, keeping your motivation to keep going, getting up on those cold mornings and going for a run, dark evenings after work, going for a run, changing your eating habits. Yeah, everyone loves a burger and chips. Well, yeah, I actually had to start, for me, I ate sweets all the time, love burger and chips, bacon, butties and everything else. And I'd have just eaten those throughout my life probably. But then when you start, you're actually an elite athlete, so your diet and your education changes in regards to what your diet and what you can eat, and how you can get the best out of your body by eating certain things. So yeah, and all that and all that education, that's the hardest thing. Just keeping that motivation to keep going. Because, like you say, the first tour, we're only 18, so all our mates are going out drinking and having a laugh and stuff, and you're going, no, it's Sunday morning, I'm going training. I'm not going out on Saturday night, I've got training tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And your mates just think you're boring or weird. But no, I think if I hadn't have done it, and if I hadn't have found that group of friends, going to Dudley Hill and playing that with those girls and that rugby team, then more than likely my life wouldn't be what it is now. I'd probably be in prison, having been, shoplifting, nicking bikes, nicking cars and everything else, because that's the type of friends I had at that time and the type of group in an area in which I lived in. So by playing the sport, it drew me away from that and gave me something else to center my life to. So yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's pretty amazing. And when you look back and reflect on your achievement, what do you think?
I'm bloody brilliant, me.
Absolutely, too bloody right.
Yeah, this is because of the job which I do now and the communities that I work in and everything else. I can understand and I can empathise when working in Gipton Hare Hills with people who, come from difficult backgrounds, don't have any family, don't have any interest in them and everything else. I can understand how they can feed off into getting into trouble and everything else. If one person had a massive influence on my life, and that would be PC Webb, and he did have that massive influence in the fact that he funneled me into sport. If he hadn't funneled me into sport, like I said, I'd be doing something else. So, but then it's for me to stay there and be doing that sport and stay there with those friends and not be pulled away. So some of my choices have been informed choices. Some of them I've been screwed away to go and do those. But yeah, you have to work hard at it, and you have to find decent people who actually you either look up to or they influence you. Because that's how, for me, that's how my life has panned out. And now I've got a great job, great family, and enjoy what I do and everything else. So I can always look forward. But it is hard work, and there's times where you don't have those choices. So as a child, right up until I was probably 18, I didn't have those choices. Those choices were made for me. However, some of it was my choice to continue along certain paths, and by continuing along those paths, then this is what I've come out to do. So yeah, I am pretty proud of myself at times.
Yeah, well, an inspector of the, you know, and one of the only women and one of the only women of colour in those positions. I think you need to be really proud of it as well. And we're proud to have you as part of the sport as well, and your achievements and your successes, you know, need to be celebrated.
Thank you.
It takes some resilience as well. And between all that, don't forget you had a road traffic accident that was, you know, really knocked you off kilter as well, didn't it? That you had to come back from. So, you know, yeah, testament to you as a person, the resilience to carry on and want to achieve. So I'm very proud of you and your achievements. So
thank you.
So when you sort of look at Women's Rugby League now and what it is, what would you want to say to this generation and the next generation?
Oh, so hard. That's an hard one. I've watched some of them. I do watch it actually. If the girls are on TV, I'll watch it because I want to see how much we're performing and everything else. If I did it so now in the way in which Women's Rugby League is moving, I'd say you've still got it wrong because you've got 11 internationals in one team, St Helens, and you need to, if you want to continue to develop the game and bring teams up with you, you need to spread your internationals out along those teams, along your Super League teams, so that they develop at the same rate rather than one being a super team and another team. Other teams really, really struggling. I'd also say get into schools and start. You really do need to start at schools and introducing it a little to the younger end, but probably in a tag format rather than a contact, rather than contact, because I think you're missing a massive trick there. There's loads of girls who will probably try it, but they won't try it while you're doing contacts because everyone thinks it hurts. And, you know, without them trying it first and just getting used to it and having that ball handling skills, then, yeah, you know, they're not going to try it. And then I think you've got to take something away from the Australian side of it and the fact that they've made their females professionals. And then if you watch the Origin, which was on this week, absolutely brilliant. That was so much better than last year. So it shows in 1 year how much they have come along just by going professional, bringing a few more teams in and having that investment in Women's Rugby League in Australia. What a brilliant setup that was. Really, really good. So we've still got a long way to go, but it's having the right people at the helm and not doing it for money, but doing it to develop the game rather than just developing people's pockets, bulging pockets.
Chantel,
yeah.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. You are one of the pioneers of Women's Rugby League. You're one of our characters and personalities who were more or less there from the start. It always amazes me when we're playing under 13s in an open age team and how successful. I wonder how successful that was because you had to play women's, not that I say it's a good thing in development, but actually it makes you hard and resilient, doesn't it? Particularly from my background. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I look forward to seeing how we progress in the future and getting you involved in the projects.
Thanks very much. Appreciate that.